Starting private stream, and it's recording. CPU's kind of thrashing, and we're getting a red fucking block down there. That's not good. Not good. YouTube says it's good, but I do not see it as being good. Alright, task manager. Let's see what this fucking thing is doing. System idle processes.
System idle processes.
Saying we're not live. Oh, it's private though, but it also,
Yeah.
It's also shitty.
I'm your private dancer. Don't make you started on that one again. Dance off my money. I do what you want me to do.
I think I'm looking for performance monitor. Nope. What's the other fucking one? Resource something. Resource monitor.
if this doesn't work, Ken, let's just go. We'll just not go live. We'll just record it.
I mean, we could do that.
I could record it and just upload it later.
What is this? Microsoft.photos.exe? What the fuck is using 15 threads? I don't know what this is. End process, motherfucker.
Turn green. Red again.
Searchapp.exe. I don't know what the fuck this is either, but...
It's all the pornware.
Kill that.
Porn.
I mean, there can't be any point. This is a brand new fucking operating system. There's
Rocco snuck in.
Maybe. Searchapp.exe is back. I don't know what the fuck it is. End process train. Kill it all. Okay. OBS is using 95 threads and 19% CPU. We streamed on this before, and it worked fine. It worked
green.
great.
No, it's
I don't know what the fuck the search app is.
It's that Russian software. Those Vidania bitches.
No.
Smearing off.
No good?
I mean, 49% used physical memory. So this thing only has 6 gigs of RAM, but it's only using half of it, so that's not a problem. The disk is not thrashing. But this fucking search app thing keeps popping up. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. Let me stop recording and just keep the stream going and see what happens.
Well, I'm also not getting any notifications that we're live. So
That's because I didn't share it with you.
It's private.
yeah, but I'm on the Freemasons podcast.
Exclusive shit.
I'm
I don't
on
share it with
our
the world.
thing.
Right, but
it's
unless
private,
I
it won't go
share it, it won't show it to anybody, even people who...
Let's just try to go live and be fucked.
Hey, it's not going to work.
Oh, it's not?
I fucking guarantee you. Like, look at this. It's not getting it up to YouTube fast enough.
Can't get it up.
I can try fucking making the...
What if you dump OBS and go direct to YouTube?
You can't. You have to... How am I going to get the soundboard input into it and stuff? Like, you need something to mix everything. I didn't fuck with any of these settings, so... I don't fucking...
It's gotta be the internet. It's just the fucking internet. It's from the fritz, so...
Rate control, streaming, bitrate. I mean, I can tweak the bitrate and drop it down.
It's up to you.
It might screw the quality up a little bit, but I'll drop it to 1500 kbps. CPU usage free. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like ultra fast. I don't fucking know. Apply.
Green now.
That's true. It is, isn't it?
Yep.
It's less red.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, our bitrate might not be great, so the quality might look a little shitty. But
whatever, who cares?
I'll start the recording as well. Unspecified error. Okay, that's cool.
Do it now.
Okay, I started the recording as well, so it'll drop that file for us. And we are... let me... 5, 4, 3.
What will happen? What will happen?
I'm going to kill the freaking recording, because that may or may not be contributing to our problem.
I don't know. I'll tell you, they've been farting around on the wires out there, and Who the hell knows? Hopefully,
It's got to be something like that, man, because I can't drop the freaking bit rate any lower than this.
there's me talking, so that's good. That's always a positive. All right,
We'll see how it goes.
see how it goes. We've been for all those who been watching, we've been having issues with our internet in the area. They are tearing the wires and everything off the poles and everything outside, so it's been choppy at best. But hopefully we don't lose you. We're going to go as far as we can, and we apologize for the inconvenience. But anyway, hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
And worshipful brother Ken.
Today we're going to take another stab at Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism. So, but before we do that, let's go through what we usually do. The usual, typical housekeeping. Joey, go.
All right, here we go. We'll start with the top. Matt Hartley. Grim Tidings. Bet that's not his real name. Kenneth Starr. What's up, Ken Starr? Tyler Crossley.
Wait. You mean like the prosecution for OJ case?
Just like that, only different.
Right.
He's actually a friend of mine from my town.
All right.
Tyler Crossley. Rob Rudzant. Zachary Taylor, not to be confused with Zachary Taylor Thomas. Mike Cattermole. Michael T. Davis. Seth Curtis. Ishmael Talib Bubakar.
All right.
Adam P. Huss. Josh McCrae. John Doyle. M.J. Baker. David Nieves Roman. Alan Smith Jr. Hassan Holloway. Kaylin Swanson.
Over on Instagram, new followers, Paranormality Magazine.
Oh.
Cool. I have to look that up. I'm not sure what that is.
Ghost stories.
Yeah. Mike Margetts, Josh Che Padraig McCrae, Leandro, Francisco Jr., Uga Wabaju.
Ooga booga?
Wabajo?
You got it, Kenny. Sound it out.
Ugwuabujo.
Ugwuabujo, Maxwell Bright, Tirick Obadiah Smith. Thank you, brothers and friends.
YouTube, Stephen Morgan, Adam Huss, and somebody who says a cult talking about another cult when we did our Scientology one. So
A cult talking about another cult.
whatever.
Mind your business.
Fucking trolls.
Mind your business.
What's
Kenny!
number one? Yes, sir.
You're late to the party.
Yes, sir.
Toast them.
All right. Brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat.
I almost dropped the cannon down upon my mouse here, and
Oh.
not exactly sure what I did.
Kenny's
Everything
having-
looks good, though, so.
Kenny's having a rough day today, so he's going hard with the bullet over there.
No, not hard.
You
Just
said hard.
sipping.
Yeah, we'll fill you in later about the whole whistling thing, Ken.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because I have no idea
I
what's going
sent
on.
Joe a video that was
Not suitable for work.
basically
Okay,
a guy
NSFW.
Yeah.
basically a guy walking down the stairs.
Just got out of the shower.
Just
He's
got out of the
naked.
shower. You hear the knock on the door.
He slips and
Comes
falls.
down the stairs, slips and falls, and the flute falls off the.
It's actually a recorder. It's actually a recorder.
Yeah, I think you guys were playing that video last
Yes.
time, but I didn't
Multiple,
actually see
yeah.
it. Yeah, okay.
So now, when the
You want
recorder
to tell the story
lands,
from yesterday?
it lands and it goes. We're gonna leave it at that. What story from yesterday?
When I requested that video from you.
Oh yeah. So yes, I went to my aunt passed away around January, but yesterday we decided we were doing the memorial service, and I'm with all my cousins. I'm in the church, and the priest is up there. Nomine Patris, Filii, Spiritus Sancti. You're doing the whole fucking deal, right?
Look at you speaking Latin.
And all of a sudden I hear in my pocket. I look down, it's Joe. And he says, hey, can I have that video of that dude with the flute in his ass?
And here you are trying to be a child of God.
Yes. And then he turned into a child and he burst out hysterically laughing.
I started hysterically laughing. I'm
At a
like,
memorial
oh,
service.
if there's ever a chance that me and Joe are going to get struck by lightning in the same moment in time,
God.
that was the day.
That does seem to be going on a lot. We had a lot of
shit.
people, unfortunately, that passed away during the time of COVID, and there does seem to be, now that things are kind of opening up a little bit, a lot of memorial services and celebrations of life happening kind of after the fact. We have one for a brother actually coming up soon too.
Right.
It's It's weird. It's a weird time to be alive, man.
Yeah. It was pretty funny yesterday though. But anyway,
I mean, yeah, it's funny as a funeral can be, I guess.
yeah. I mean, she died of COVID, so I mean,
Oh my God.
hats off.
Sorry.
my poor aunt. But anyway, let's get into it. Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry. Many believe that Freemasonry derives from Rosicrucianism. That is wrong. Well, first we're going to break down what Rosicrucianism Rosicrucianism is and how it compares to Freemasonry. So again, I'm taking this off of the website that never lies. Wikipedia.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
What's Rosicrucianism?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
That was like your setup to just say, oh, let me tell you.
I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball.
We're really not good at broadcasting, are we?
Yeah. James Levaney says a little choppy. Yeah, we've been having issues with it. We actually turned down the bit rates for the recording because, unfortunately, we have internet issues going on outside. But I know they're farting around with the wires. But Rosicrucianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that arose in Europe in the early 17th century after a publication of several texts that purported to announce the existence of a hitherto unknown esoteric order to the world and made seeking its knowledge attractive to many. The mysterious doctrine of the order is built on esoteric truths of the ancient past, which conceal from the average man, provide insight into nature and the physical universe and the spiritual realm. The manifestos do not elaborate extensively on the matter, but clearly combine references to Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, Christian mysticism. So basically what they did is they just kind of put them all into a religious, esoteric shit sandwich and combined it all.
The mystery school shit sandwich.
Cool shit sandwich. That's what we're going to go with. The Rosicrucian manifestos heralded a universal reformation of mankind through a science allegedly kept secrets for decades until the intellectual climate may receive it. I'm down with that.
Okay, makes sense.
Understand back in these times, everything was controlled by the Catholic Church, so a lot of things were kept quiet, including the world being round. Sorry, flat earthers, I hate to tell you that. Because the Catholic Church believed that the world was flat, remember?
Right. They also believed the
Way
Earth
back
was
when,
the
yeah.
center of the universe.
That as well. So these other scientists, like was it Sir Isaac Newton, Bruno, what's the guy?
Copernicus.
The guy that got burned at the stake, Bruno something.
Galileo.
Galileo.
Right.
Galileo.
Figaro.
Magnifico.
Thanks for picking up on that, Ken.
Oh my God! Somebody
you.
had to.
I got the reference.
And Warner Brothers has muted you
Yes, they have.
again.
No, but what was the guy? Bruno was burned at the stake. He was
Oh, I can't remember his
Oh,
first
you know
name.
what I'm
Yes,
talking
I know
about.
who you're talking
You know what I'm
about.
talking about. He was burned at the stake because he basically
He's part of the Royal Society, I believe, as
went
well.
against the Catholic Church's belief that the Earth was the center of the universe, and he tried talking about the galaxy, and they cooked his ass.
It's one way to shut him up.
Something like
Something
that.
like
yeah.
that. I don't know. I'm not looking up that. I'm looking up this right now. Don't mock me, Kenny.
I'm not mocking you. I'm just. I would help you out if I could remember.
Controversies
names.
arose. I'm sorry.
I would help you out if I could remember the names, but I.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I know it's Bruno something. Anyway,
Mars?
if you're watching live, like, subscribe, click the little bell, and help us out here. Again,
Google it for
this
us.
perfect example of why Masons don't control everything because I don't know everything.
We can't even control our own friggin' Wi-Fi feed.
Yeah, I
Live feed.
can. Although I did jack the bit
did.
rate
You did
down
a
to
good
about
job, Ken. I
900
knew I could
kbps,
count on you.
which is not great. But you know what? I did it during the stream, and now we're green.
Awesome.
Right. So you're great.
Which is not good. It does mean that they're screwing something up outside.
Yep.
Hope they fix it.
I hope so too.
Can't stop the signal, Ken. The signal's everywhere.
I know. Everything goes somewhere.
You
and I
children
go
ready?
everywhere. Yeah.
Controversies arose on whether they were a hoax, whether the Order of the Rosy Cross existed as described in the manifestos, and whether the whole thing was a metaphor disguising a movement that really existed, but in a different form. In 1616, Johann Valentin André famously designated it as ludibrium. Ludibrium? Come on, Joe, help me out. Right there, blue word, highlighted.
Blue word highlighted. There's a bunch of them.
Ludibrium, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know that one.
Some scholars of esotericism suggest that the statement was later made by Andre in order to shield himself from the wrath of the religious and political institutions of the day, which were intolerant of free speech and the idea of a universal reformation in which the manifestos called for. Let's see here. Let's get into... let's scroll down. You guys can look this up if you want. Let's get into, what do you guys want to hear? You want to hear the origins? You want to hear the Enlightenment, Rosicrucian Enlightenment?
Talk about the origins first.
Origins. All right, roger that.
If you could see if there's any correlation between their origins and that of Freemasonry.
You bastard, you set me up. You know there's a bunch of Latin in this freaking one, aren't you? You're
I
watching
had no
it.
idea.
I'll do my best Latin. Here
I
we
can't
go.
help you there, man. I didn't study Latin.
You know what, Devaney? Eat shit.
Just say it
Hooked on
with-
phonics didn't work for George.
Just say it with
Same.
Emphasis, right?
Yeah. Confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
There we go.
Old Master 357 says it's not the feed that's choppy, it's George's reading skills.
I know. I
Oh,
know.
Daniel Valdez.
And who is Old Master?
Giordano.
Oh, that's
Bruno.
me.
Giordano Bruno. Was that
Giordano
the one you were
Bruno.
looking for?
Yeah, that's the name I was
okay.
looking for.
Thank you,
So
Daniel
not,
Valdez.
Not
Appreciate
Mars,
it.
as I had thought.
No.
Origins. Between 1614 and 1617, which predates Freemasonry, 3 anonymous manifestos were published, first in Germany and later throughout Europe. These were the Fama Fraternitatis, RC, the Fame of the Brotherhood of RC, 1614, the Confessio Fraternitatis, fucking hell, Fraternitatis.
I love this part. This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part.
The Confession of the Brotherhood
So
of
cringy.
RC, RC, of course, meaning Rosicrucians,
Rosicrucianism.
and the Shemitical Wedding of Christian Rosicrucian Anno, 1459. Anyway, the Fama Fraternitatis presents the legend of a German doctor and mystic philosopher referred to as the Father Brother, or CRC. I have no idea what any of this means. But the year 1378 is presented as being the birth year of our Christian father. 1378. Okay. It's a rando, right? It's a rando, 1378. It's not really, I went on in 1378.
that's one period of history that I really don't know too much about.
It was after the Templars.
It was definitely after, the Crusades.
After the
for
Templars,
majority
kind of, I don't know. It's floating in that area of where,
the Dark Ages.
no, Dark Ages were before that. They were from like 800 to like 950 or something like that. Dark Ages was prior to that.
Okay.
1378, I really
It's kind of a
don't know.
dark period before the Reformation and before the Enlightenment. and
Ah,
everything,
true.
too.
Fair point.
1378, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
I'll look it up.
after studying in the Middle East under various masters, possibly adhering to Sufism,
Sufism? Really?
he was unable to spread the knowledge he had acquired to prominent European scientists and philosophers. Again, as we said, the Muslims and their religion were the first to actually kind of get onto the whole scientist, stars and all that stuff well
Yeah.
before the Christian
Yeah, it was
religion did.
one of the first of the ancient cultures to get into that.
Correct. So it would make sense that he went there, studied it in the Middle East, and then brought it, or tried to bring it back. And of course, the church.
You're a heathen! Yeah, bad time to be doing that.
Yeah. Instead, he gathered a small circle of friends, disciples, and founded the Rosicrucian order. This can be deduced to have occurred around 1407. All right. During that guy's Rosicrucians, he named it after his fucking self. Just no. Now look it. See,
No, I know.
Rosicrucians.
I know, you're right.
I mean, you got to be one vain son of a bitch. Name an order after yourself.
Or maybe he was named after the
Oh, then again, there is an order that we're kind of starting to make, and it's called Josephusism.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 rules.
Vain bastard.
2 rules. Only 2 rules. Very easy to follow.
All right. The order is said to comprise no more than 8 members, each a doctor and a sworn bachelor.
What? A doctor and a sworn bachelor. That's interesting.
Each member undertook an oath to heal the sick without accepting payment. That's freaking lost.
No, I mean there's plenty of groups that do that in modern day. You've got like Doctors Without Borders
That's
and
the first
stuff
one
like
I
that. Like
thought.
I think they're probably paid somehow.
Just
but it's
not
like
when I
through
go
grants
for
and stuff.
the
Like, you're
doctor
not-
for having like I don't know, sinus infection.
Well, you have insurance. It's a different kind of paradigm.
Or
here
the
in
thrombose
US.
hemorrhoid that you were talking about.
Thrombose.
Robbery. Anyway, yeah, I know. I got you. Fucking all right, Joe. This is how we're gonna do it. All right.
But at any rate,
Each member undertook an oath to heal the sick without accepting payment, to maintain a secret fellowship, and to find a replacement for himself before he died.
that's noble, I think,
Yeah.
I'll go with it.
on paper.
3 such generations had supposedly passed between 1500 and 1600, a time when scientific, philosophical, and religious freedom had grown so that the public might benefit from the Rosicrucians' knowledge, so that they were now seeking good men.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding. There.
Good men who are willing to give of themselves without expecting anything in return.
All right. And if only we
seen
can
some
make them
comparisons.
better. If only we can take
If
good men and
only.
make them better.
If only we could.
Rosicrucian Enlightenment. Let's get into this one. In early 17th century, the manifestos caused excitement throughout Europe by declaring the existence of a secret brotherhood of alchemists, and sages who were prepared to transform, and this is the 17th century now, preparing to transform the arts and sciences, religious, political, and intellectual landscapes of Europe. Wars of politics and religion ravaged the continent. The works were then reissued several times, followed by numerous pamphlets.
God help us.
He looked right at me. Favorable or otherwise, between 1614 and 1620, about 400 manuscripts and books were published when discussed the which discussed the Rosicrucian documents. The peak of the Rosicrucian fervor was reached when 2 mysterious posters appeared on the walls in Paris in 1622 within a few days of each other. The first said, "We, the deputies of the higher college of the Rose-Croix, do make our stay visibly and invisibly in this city." The second ended with the words, "The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker will lead us to him and him to us."
That's deep.
That's fucking pretty
That
cool.
is
That's
pretty
pretty
I'm
Can
not
you
gonna
say that
lie.
one more time? Say that again.
So the first one said, "We, the deputies of the higher college of the Rose-Croix, do make our stay visibly and invisibly in this city."
Okay.
And then the second one said, "The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker will lead us to him and him to us."
Oh.
So that sounds like a really complicated way to go have a physical. Right, because it's like you're staring at that. So it's like, what year is this? It's like late 1700s. right?
1622.
Oh, 1622. Okay, so I'm a random serf in London in 1622, and I'm staring at this thing on the wall, and I'm like, man, I just want to get my tonsils out.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
So,
Well, there's a good chance you probably wouldn't have even been able to read it as some random surf. So by putting up the
good point,
posters,
1622.
you're almost recruiting a higher caliber of man, of one that could actually read.
Oh, that was a recruiting poster.
Well,
I thought that was
I
like to
don't-
get patients for their.
Well, but it's if you're getting that message out with the whole,
Basically,
cause him
we're-
to seek us and us to seek him
Yeah.
kind of thing.
We're here in the
I got
city.
you, Joe. I got you, Joe Schultz. I got
Kind
you.
of sounds
us
like you need to come knock on our door. Come and knock on our door.
Joel Schultz says George is reading that book like a champ. Is it a picture book?
No, it's just really big print.
Yeah.
There's a pronunciation guide.
So, kind of what I'm gathering of this group is, well, that was definitely a cloaked in allegory recruitment pictures. That's what I picked up on that.
That's
So-
kind of what I'm kind of taking from.
So he's basically saying the first one says, "We, the deputies of the higher college of the Rose-Croix, do make our stay visibly and invisibly in the city." In other words, we're here.
We're here and
Right.
we're
We're
among
right
you.
here.
You may see us. You may
see us-
not.
Right.
Yep.
And then the second one says, "The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker." So if somebody reads this thing and they're like, "Oh, I want to join," they're going to seek out the Rose-Croix
Right.
are the Rosicrucians, and the Rosicrucians in turn will seek out them.
And we're
so
gonna
which
know
means
whether
to
you're
me
worthy.
that while they had these posters up, there was probably somebody watching to see who's reading them.
Well, and
Hey,
there's
good
these
point.
some are visible and some are invisible.
There was probably somebody scouting saying, "Oh, that guy just stopped. That guy
Yeah.
just stopped," and they're marking down, or maybe they pass by him, or doing some real
Ask
you
a
know,
weird question or something.
secretive
kinda,
shit. Hey, what'd you
yeah.
think about that poster, man? That was pretty weird. Oh, I love it. I would love to meet him. Bam, there you go.
Yeah, and I think by having something that you
That's
had
some-
to read and think through, you're already
Weeding
attracting
out
you're weeding out
Yeah.
some perhaps undesirables and attracting a higher status gentleman.
Not unlike Freemasonry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
pretty
sounds
cool. Freemasonry should do that
It
shit.
sounds a
We'll put
little
up
like
poster.
to be one, ask one.
Yeah,
Like to
Similar.
Cause the seeker to find us.
that's clever. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like it.
Let's see here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more here because again, you guys can.
Are
go
there
back and read
symbols on the poster? Somebody had asked if there were any symbols.
So
on
I
the
don't know. It doesn't say that they have them, but there's if you go on Wikipedia, you can see there's some definitely publications. They show you the Rose Cross. And they show you a 17th century depiction of the Rosicrucian concept of the tree of Pansophia, which eerily looks to me like Kabbalah.
Oh, it looks exactly like the Tree of Life from Kabbalah. Not
Right.
exactly, but very
Damn
reminiscent.
close.
Very reminiscent of.
Right. So we're gonna fast forward here. I'm gonna move up to the Rose Cross degrees in Freemasonry. According to Jean-Pierre Bayard,
The guy downstairs?
yeah,
Jean-Pierre.
what is it with you and the drunk guy downstairs?
He fascinates me.
Oh my God,
He's a nice guy.
he's a nice guy. He walks down the street munching his freaking cheeseburger, food falling out of his face as he walks by.
Man, he's hungry.
I'm trying to freaking get
He's
to
hustling.
my car. I got my OC spray in my hand, and Joe's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
He's a
Hey,
nice
the
man.
guy eats his food while taking a bus to take a train to get to work every day.
Yeah.
Then how does he
Give
get
him
so
that.
smashed in the process?
That's what he does with a paycheck. Far be it for me to tell a man how to spend his own money.
It's not our business.
Rule
and that's
number 2.
Were you here the day, though? I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast. Were you here the day we were all outside? That meeting when the drunk guy comes across the street and he had his hands in the air? Coming over to Perry. He's like, "Oh, I don't want no trouble."
No, we have a couple stories.
We collectively stuck our hands in our pocket.
Yes. We have a story like that from Harmony as well, but I'm not going to get into the specifics. But
Right.
yeah, it happens. You got a bunch of guys standing
Yeah, but you
around
can't
in
do that to
tuxedos, and
Jean-Louis.
it's like somebody randomly.
I'm
comes
sorry.
and accosts you.
I'm granted. I get the guy was inebriated. He was freaking drunk. Sorry, I know we're getting off topic here, but this is the shit I live for.
Apparently, it's important. To
it's
George.
important. It's important to me. Public service announcement. Okay.
Oh, boy.
If you're gonna walk up to somebody, all right, to go talk to them,
The opinions expressed on this podcast are those of George Muttrey, not necessarily those of Kent Harwood and Joe Zanino.
Or any Grand Lodge.
Well,
Lodge
I
of
think you
Freedom,
guys-
Six Masons.
I think you guys would agree with this. Don't be a guy who's drunk as shit. And I get it. He was inebriated. But don't walk across the street heading in our general direction with your hands in the air and say, "I don't want any trouble," as you're walking to one of the Masons.
Yeah, it's generally not a good first impression.
Talk about somebody put on high alert.
We had somebody come up and say, "I'm not trying to rob you," but like that was the opening. I'm like, okay, because it's kind of
You just don't
everybody's
lead with
assuming
that.
when you say that. Yeah, exactly. It's
I don't
not
know.
how you
Maybe
open.
he's nervous. He wants
Just
to
like
declare his
how
intentions.
about good
Okay.
evening, gentlemen?
Hey,
And
how
be
you
like,
doing?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
No, I'm not trying to
going?
rob you. Oh,
I'll even
okay.
take a sup at that point. Sup.
Yeah,
You know, something.
or hello.
Hello. Hello.
Do you have a moment to talk about your... Never mind.
That's fine too. That's fine too. Just don't say you're
I don't
not
care.
trying to rob me.
Yeah,
I
don't
feel like it's reverse psychology at that point.
don't
Like,
come
oh,
up and
he's
say
not
I don't
gonna-
want any trouble. To me, that means you're coming to look for trouble, and you have your hands in the air, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Just saying.
Well, at least they're not hidden.
Yeah, if they go in the pockets, that would be a little bit.
I think that's a
bigger
good
of
move. I
problem.
think that's when you're walking up a crowd of hooligans, such as the members of Morningstar Lodge number
hooligans.
47.
A bunch of guys in tuxedos.
Bunch
out
of
in front
hooligans
the
in
lodge
tuxedos.
smoking cigars. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a bunch of hooligans to me.
Anyway, let's get
Yeah.
back into this.
Yeah,
Sorry we
about that.
sidetracked there.
Our bad.
Two Rosicrucian-inspired Masonic rites emerged toward the end of the 18th century. The rectified Scottish rite, widespread in Central Europe, where there was strong presence of the Golden and Rosy Cross. In the ancient and accepted Scottish rite, first practice in France, which the 18th degree is called Knight of the Rose Croix, which it still is.
Yes, it is.
And it is a fantastic
great
degree.
degree.
It is awesome.
I even have a nice little lapel pin from that
Yeah.
illustrious brother Jack Farkas gave me from that. It's a nice little white cross with a little rose.
Gotta stop mentioning his name. He's gonna be like, I heard you on the podcast. You know you fuckers got a part in the next one, right?
He'll find. Trust me, he'll find us regardless.
He gave you a lapel pin. You kind of owe him.
I know.
I've done my share.
The change from operative to speculative masonry occurred between the end of the 16th and the beginning of the 18th century. We know this. Two of the earliest speculative masons from whom a record of initiation exists were Sir Robert Moray and Elias Ashmole.
Oh,
Elias
Elias Ashmole, yeah.
Elias Ashmole.
There's actually a group called the
Don't be
Elias
an Ashmole.
Ashmole Society. I think I mentioned this
Yeah,
on
they're
a
like
previous
a
podcast.
lodge of research kind
Yeah,
of thing, right?
it's an organization within a lodge, but I think Willis St. John's in West Hartford.
Is this a case where you
those
can be an
brothers
Ashmole?
started it.
Yes.
You can be an Ashmole.
They study they do talks on esoteric Freemasonry and stuff, and you can engage them and have them come to your lodge and do like a Masonic education night on esotericism. It's neat.
Yeah, it is very, very cool.
So that's pretty much where it started into Freemasonry. It was somebody who, so I guess you could say that Rosicrucianism did blend into Freemasonry. I don't think Freemasonry derived from Rosicrucianism. My personal feelings on this, and then I'm going to go over to the Grand Lodge of the British Columbia and Yukon.
Oh, I love those
Yeah,
guys.
I
that's a
love
great
going here.
site.
Love this
We
site.
should have somebody from there on the show.
We most certainly
really.
should. But I personally feel, and the way I feel about this is, everybody says, oh, Freemasonry, this is where, how do I put this? Like, Freemasonry derived from the Rosicrucians. Freemasonry derived from the Knights Templar.
yeah.
Freemasonry derived from... I don't believe any of that shit.
No.
What I actually think, it's the contrary. I think a lot of these orders, which were in deep shit by the Catholic Church, blended into Freemasonry because realistically, at the time, Freemasonry was not speculative when it first started off. It was operative. And who did the church need to build the frickin' churches and cathedrals?
Exactly.
So they couldn't just get rid of the stonemason guilds because, shit, they needed them, I'm sorry, you're not going to see Father Cavitas out there freaking ting, 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 ting. It's just not going to happen. They hired stonemason guilds. Well, the ancient stonemasons were Freemasonry derived from. And I feel like a lot of these orders, and again, I'm a big
maybe took in some people that
Took in some people to keep them
being
protected.
oppressed, or yeah.
in
If
which
you're going to
in
hit your
turn-
wagon to an organization that's strong and not going to go anywhere,
And international.
yes,
That would be the
so
one. Yeah.
that would be a good
And on top of that, I'm sure the stone guilds at the time were all for it because, these organizations had knowledge of things
Yeah.
or different thoughts about themselves. You follow?
Yeah.
A perfect example is the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Look at all of the esoteric shit in the side of that freaking cathedral.
Yeah, and to keep those types of, like an organization like that going, you need to have inroads into new territories.
Right. So I think-
yeah,
Right.
it kind of makes sense.
Rosalind Chapel. Look
bad
at all the
thing to do.
encoding in that building.
Yeah.
People, to this day, we don't know what the hell half of it means. But it was encoded for future generations to figure out. And I personally feel that that's what they were up to. They encoded a lot of shit in all those churches. And it was literally right underneath the Catholic Church's nose. And, of course, the priest walks up and goes, oh, my God, that's beautiful. That's so cool.
He reads his own.
He reads his own symbolism into
yeah.
it, but realistically, and that's where I think the original secrets of Freemasonry is.
It could be. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I agree with you, though. I don't think Freemasonry as an organization was derived from any of these other outside organizations. Derived from operative masonry, and there was influenced, I'm sure,
Right.
by the fall of the Templars and the fall of Rosicrucianism and the fall of these ancient mystery traditions, and
But I think that's where we get all of our
alchemists.
right. I think that's where we get all of our mysticism and allegory and our symbolism. And I think it all derives from different alchemists. Yeah, like you were saying.
It wouldn't surprise me because we're traditionally a very inclusive kind of organization.
Right.
So I would imagine that probably goes back to our ancient roots, and it wouldn't surprise me if some of these groups that were being oppressed or, repressed in one way or another by the government or a religious organization of the time would, seek.
Daniel Valdez says Freemason FMP road trip to Scotland. Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get out of the pub.
of course not.
I would visit every cathedral there.
No, but if you look at it, so in essence, Rosicrucianism is esoteric Christianity. To boil it down to something simple.
Right.
And you've got the Kabbalah, which is esoteric Judaism. And you have Freemasonry, at least the esoteric side, that really gets into the ancient mysteries. So I think they're, like you said, Ken, I think they're all not necessarily influenced by each other, but hey, if you have a certain point of view and you find something similar, obviously there's strength in numbers.
Yep.
So let's get together, and maybe your perspective or teachings of an ancient mystery might fill in the missing pieces to what mine might be leaving out.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the ancient mysteries aren't so mysterious anymore.
Late 16 and early 1700s, there was a lot of that kind of stuff floating around.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
You could theoretically join a Masonic lodge with a lot, less trouble than talking about what you know to your fellow, folks in your congregation or something like that.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me.
All right, let's get into the Freemasonry .bcy.ca, which is the Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon on Rosicrucianism. And this little piece was done by Percy Jantz, February 4th, 2020.
I loved them in those movies.
Not 2020, 2002. Many people have sought a connection between Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism. Some claim incorrectly, and that was made very clear, incorrectly, that Freemasonry came from Rosicrucianism. There are enough similarities between them to make the history of Rosicrucianism of interest to Freemasons. The birth of the Rosicrucianism is almost universally attributed to Johann Valentin Andrea, a German monk. He was known for his charity and his attempts to promote the betterment of mankind through study and learning. Scholars believe it was he, in 1614, who published, the things we were talking about, Fama Fraternitalis Rosicruciae. In this book, Christian Rosenkreutz is born to a... all right. So Rosenkreutz wasn't a real guy.
He was like their Hiram Abiff, kind of.
Yeah, because he says in this book... So he wrote... This guy, this German monk, Johann, wrote the book. Fama Fraternitalis... I'm not going to sing it again.
Fraternitalis.
You fuckers know what it means.
Yeah.
Abbreviated.
He wrote this book, and in the book, Christian Rosenkreutz is born to a poor but good family. So I guess it's a form of fiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Religious fiction. Yeah.
At a young age, he joined the monastery, and at some stage, he is allowed to accompany an old monk on a pilgrimage to the Holy Sepulchre. The monk dies in Cyprus, and Christian goes on alone. In Damascus, he is amazed by the wonders of the city sages and places himself under their direction. After 3 years of studying their hidden mysteries, he goes to Egypt to further study. Then, at the direction of his Arabian masters, he travels to Fez, where there is an annual meeting of the African and Arabian philosophers to compare notes on their studies and travels. After several more years, he goes to Spain, but getting a poor reception, he returns back to his native Germany. There, Rosenkreutz advocates for the Reformation and morals and science, but met with little sympathy, so he decided to start his own society. He gathered 3 companions from his old monastery, swore them to secrecy, passing all of his knowledge on to them, and is transcribed. They built a temple called the Temple of the Holy Ghost. Okay. They then increased their numbers to 8, and after all were fully instructed into the mysteries of science and nature, they agreed to separate. 2 would stay with the Father Rosenkreutz. The others would travel to pursue learning, but would return every year to communicate the results to their study. Then they would depart again, this time with 2 different members of the order staying behind. The rules of the order, here we go, they were that they would devote themselves to nothing else than free practice of physic.
free practice of physic. What does that mean?
PHYSIC. Or is that psych? No.
No, that would be PSY.
That's physics.
Physics.
Maybe it's supposed to be physics.
Physics, I'm assuming.
Maybe it's a typo.
All right. That they were to wear no special clothing, but rather to adopt the customs of the land they were in. Oh, so they couldn't stand out. No Funkmaster Flash shit going on.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of compelling, I think.
Right?
Because, I mean, he's a fictional character that moved from place to place, kind of the early Renaissance man. You know, taking from all these different cultural traditions. That would kind of make sense that the rules of the order are to blend in and kind of.
Well, I mean, think about it. You don't want this guy to just show up and be like, "I'm here, bitches!" Like, and it's
teach
native.
me.
Yeah,
Teach me your ways.
No. He's saying no. What he's saying is they're supposed to go there and teach others. I guess, right?
And blend in, right? It's got to be a dialogue.
But if you don't blend in, you kind of stick out like a sore thumb, and the people in that native area.
So it's not like a traditional missionary kind of thing where you're going in and you're, dropping knowledge bombs on people. It's a give and take.
Most people would be like,
dialogue.
"Get the fuck out."
Right, yeah, especially if you're dressed differently.
Go away. Let's see here. That each one was to present themselves at the temple of the Holy Ghost in a particular day of the year, or send an excuse for his absence. Excuse me, it's a blended word. So basically, he had to go once a year to this temple of the Holy Ghost on a particular day of the year, or send an excuse on why you couldn't be there.
Sounds like a summons almost.
Yep.
Okay.
It's almost like our Grand Lodge sessions.
Well, no, I mean, like it's like. That harkens to Freemasonry, to the, if a master summons you or a Grand Master summons you,
get your ass there.
You're either there or you have a really damn good reason for him to excuse you.
4, that each was to look for a brother to succeed him on his death. 5, that the letters RC, were to be their seal, watchword, and title. Okay.
Harkens back to the Georgia Guidestones a little bit, huh? R.C. Christian?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoo.
Actually, it does. The name was Christian, though. Wasn't that the first name of the
Christian Rosicrucians?
Right.
R.C.
The
Christian.
person that...
But R.C.
I think
also...
you just made a breakthrough, worshipful Brother Joe.
Get Walter on the phone.
Yeah, all right.
It usually only happens when I have Taco Bell, but...
All right. So if you haven't heard the Guidestones episode, go back. Holy shit, that just brought it all back around.
Good call.
That the brotherhood was to be kept secret for 100 years. When 100 years old, Christian Rosicrucian died. His burial place was known to only the 2 brothers that were with him at the time, and they took the secret to them with their grave.
Weird.
The society continued, always 8 in number, for a further 120 years. There was a tradition in the Brotherhood that after 120 years, Father Rosicrucian's grave was to be discovered, and the Brotherhood no longer kept a secret. All right. The Temple of the Holy... You know where I'm going with this?
No.
Not yet. But
Hiram.
Oh, yeah.
Similar.
Okay.
Different.
There's some
but
similarities in the stories there. It's a central character who...
Right. Central character dies. They had to discover the grave.
Fictional martyr.
Yeah.
They had to discover the grave. Took some time for him to go back. I'm picking up a little bit.
And then there's, God, I can't really say it on air, but there's a particular part of the tragedy where you said something about the grave being discovered at a later date, right?
120 years later.
Yeah, so that kind of reminds me of a particular part of the tragedy at the end where, something's substituted until
the time.
Until somebody finds something.
Yeah, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking up on
that
that
a little bit.
Yep.
The Temple of the Holy Ghost was being altered, and when a brass plate was removed from the wall, a door was revealed bearing the inscription, "After 120 years, I will be opened." Inside was a vault of 7 sides. Inside the vault of 7 sides.
Make a hell of a movie.
7 sides.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Get Dan Brown on the phone. Each 5 feet long.
I don't think
and
he's taking
8
our
feet.
calls.
He's a brother.
Raph. Get
Is he
out of
really?
there.
Yeah.
He is a brother?
Dan
Dan
Brown's a
Brown?
brother. After he wrote the Lost Symbol, he took the degrees.
No way.
Swear to
I did
God,
not know
he's a brother.
that.
Yes, he is.
Cool.
Inside was a vault. Inside was a vault of 7 sides, each 5 long and 8 feet high. The ceiling was arched and the room lit by an artificial sun at the center. While in the middle of the floor was an altar bearing the inscription, "When living, I made this compact copy of the universe my grave." Ooh.
What?
In the center were 4 figures with the words: 1, by no means void; 2, the yoke of the law; 3, the liberty of the gospel; 4, the unsullied glory of God. Oof.
Wow.
The 7 walls were each divided into 10 squares with figures and sentences to be explained to the initiates. They also each contained a door leading to closets, which contained all manners of wonders, from the history of the Brotherhood to encyclopedia, from the life of the founder to the curious mirrors and burning lamps of instructions on how to build up the order and how it would eventually fall into decay.
That's kind of cool.
I wonder if those instructions were similar in any way to the instructions given on the Georgia Guidestones.
Ah, how to rebuild society.
Exactly.
For example.
All
Just
right.
curious.
There might be some
Just-
links there, man. I think you're right.
Boy, you're on point
It's
today.
interesting, yeah.
I cleansed earlier.
Did you do the Murph this morning?
Again,
Is that-
Taco Bell. No, Murph is tomorrow.
Oh,
morning.
Murph is tomorrow. Okay.
morning.
Good luck.
I had
and
to
God
prep
bless.
for it. Thank you.
It's going to be a rough one.
It will be a rough one.
Pushing aside the altar, they found the body of Rosicrucian, freshly preserved, with a volume under his arm. Freshly preserved? How do you freshly preserve a body? Well, then again, they did
It
the
would be
Lenin.
like 200 years old at that point, wouldn't it?
Might have been hermetically sealed.
Oh,
See what I did there? See what I did?
Wow,
Oh,
you
yeah.
are on point today. Look at you. Oh, holy crap.
Fucking show off.
Yeah.
With a volume under his arm. What volume? Like a book of law?
A
Probably
book of
volume
whatever.
of Sacred,
Right.
sacred law, yeah.
This then was the story attributed to Andrea. It was intended to be a suggestion to the. This is like got some like Assassin's Creed shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
That's probably where they got,
Yeah.
they take things from
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
history.
sure they
and
stole
kinda-
that.
Well, it says it right in the opening credits of the game that this is purely fictional, but have been taken from history. So,
Yeah.
We stole it from the Freemasons and Rosicrucians.
yeah.
FYI.
It was intended to be a suggestion that to the learned to promote philanthropy, to better mankind through answering the questions posed. It was misunderstood then, and has been since. Everywhere his fable was accepted as fact. People searched for the temple of the Holy Ghost. Letters appeared continuously addressed to the order, seeking admission. None were answered. The Brotherhood was earnestly attacked and vigorously defended in books and pamphlets. But no one ever heard of this. Never heard from the order itself. Eventually, some, having sought vainly for the invisible society, resolved to form their own, and hence there appeared by 1622 the alchemist group in The Hague, called themselves the Rosicrucians. Okay.
Yeah, so fake
Interesting. Okay.
societies. Yeah.
So basically,
Copycats.
copycats. So that's kind of what we are now. Well, what not?
Kind of like the new Illuminati versus the Bavarian Illuminati.
Right.
Yeah,
Somebody
right,
took
right,
the
right.
idea and bastardized it and called
Yes.
it their own. And
Started requesting vulture piss from people.
Exactly. Exactly.
I totally forgot about the vulture piss.
Yeah, my vulture piss is still in the mail.
But here's the thing to think about, and it's everything is allegory, and sometimes things don't always appear to be what they seem. Perhaps the temple of the Holy Ghost is not a brick and mortar type construction, but one of bone and flesh.
One of the mind.
How about that? How you like them apples?
Here's my
Within
thing,
each
though.
person.
I'm going to take the other way.
Okay.
This was a freaking science fiction book. It was a goddamn
Wait,
Dan
what?
Brown book that somebody took and were like, "There's got to be this real order." It was a nonfiction. It was a fiction book.
It's more believable than
Well, here's
Dianetics.
the thing. If back then, if somebody takes something that's a fictional account and makes it real, then it's a real society. And there's
Thetans.
Yeah, and there's precedent. I was going to say, I wasn't going to go Scientology, but yeah, there's precedent for doing that, for like looking at something that's obviously fictional and making a group, making a philosophy around it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
It's
been
happened
done
before.
throughout
Yeah.
history. Absolutely.
So
Doesn't
that's
make it
kind of what
less
I'm
legitimate.
getting is that this was a book that, this guy, Johann, wrote. People took it as it being there is a literal Rosicrucian group. So then in around 1622, you see people making an actual literal
Right.
Rosicrucian group, and that's
Right.
what has prevailed through time.
There you
Right.
go. That's how
Okay.
it works.
Or it was truth embedded in fiction, so that it was hidden.
It was there the whole
And all
time,
the-
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Right in plain
realistically,
sight all the time.
if you're going to hide your group,
That's the best way
Put
to
it
do
in
it.
plain sight.
put another group in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or say that, hey, this was all just a science fiction novel, guys.
Yeah, right.
Even though it
Hey
was
man,
legit
this is
the
just
whole
charity. We just do pancake breakfast, man.
time. Yeah, we're not taking over the world, baby. Worshiping Satan.
No wonder why people think of us the way that they do.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Sometimes we're a little hypocritical,
probably
aren't
because of us.
we? Yeah.
So anyway, let's see, where did I leave off? The doctrine soon found its way to Britain around 1625, and the publications began to appear. Common symbols resulted in scholars then and since trying to find a common origin between Rosicrucian and Freemasonry, but this is not so. The Rosicrucians were theosophists? Theosophists, religious men whose doctrines were of spirits, the elements, and number of heavenly bodies, and their influence of men. Freemasons were founded by builders whose symbols applied in architecture and were of Christian character.
Yeah, but go back. Read what you said before the Freemasonry part. The sentence before that, please.
Yes, it says the Rosicrucians were Say it again, Ken.
Theosophists?
Theosophists, religious men whose doctrines were of spirits, of the elements, of numbers, and heavenly bodies, and their influence on men.
Right, so religious philosophers.
Religious
Yes,
philosophers.
But as you're saying that, study of numbers, I'm thinking like middle chamber lecture, where
Yeah.
we talk about the 7 liberal arts and sciences, 2 of which have to do with numbers, and 1 that has to do with heavenly bodies.
Well,
Yeah.
again, we also talked about how the Rosicrucians probably blended into Freemasonry in
so
the
that sounds
future.
like- yeah.
And we picked up some of their
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm just drawing some similarities, not saying one originated from the
Yeah,
other, but there's some.
Which
It's just
also
been that they picked the concept from here or there.
I just thought it was
somebody
yeah.
who,
I just thought it was interesting that they're saying, well, they're different because this one does this and this one does that, where things that they said the first that Rosicrucians did.
well, I mean, we're talking
It's found its way into ritual, whether it was there before or after or whatever. It's there.
yeah. Or
It's
whether
in the
it
middle
was
chamber.
whether it was an homage or whether it was derived from it.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, here we go. Ready? In
Difficult to tell.
1668 to 1743, Chevalier Michael Ramsay is credited with starting the higher degrees. His were designed to support the connection of the Crusades and the Templars, but Rosicrucian or Hermetic philosophy crept in. So there you go.
See, hermetically sealed.
So this also leads me to believe that there, at this time, wasn't a fellowcraft degree.
There might not have been.
And it was later added to add in all
Some
of
of
the
this.
Rosicrucians and Hermeticism and all this later, so that their lessons were also taught in the degrees of Masonry.
Right. It's like an amalgamation of that. And that kind of gets to my point earlier where, Freemasonry may not have its origins in these certain ancient mysteries, but they're definitely kind of taking the best of each one and bringing it into their philosophy and say, hey, I think they got this right. Let's bring it in.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, I
at
think
the
they
end
got
of the
this
day,
part. Ooh, like maybe the Rosicrucians brought in,
going on,
the
Ligarius?
science of computing numbers, and I'll leave it at that as far as, getting into the middle chamber.
well,
portion
there's
of it, but-
Kabbalah. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
like numerology going back into the ancient
So it's like
religions. but
taking some of these concepts, we'll call them, just for to keep it simple. And hey, we like that concept. Let's bring that in. Hey, this makes sense and seems to answer this. Let's bring that in. And then you end up with You know, when you talk about the 7 liberal arts and sciences, there may be things that specifically were taken from those other fields of ancient mysteries.
Yep. And if we're going to be inclusive of all the ancient religions, then we might as well borrow aspects of each one of them.
We need to deep dive into this, boys, because I'm seeing more and more evidence that there wasn't a fellowcraft degree and it was added later. I would love to know what the original degrees were, 1717.
I've got to get back into guest of the show, Jamie Paul Lamb's, the Middle Chamber book that he wrote. I have to get back into that one and finish that one up, because I'm sure there's some... perhaps some answers, or at least maybe more questions from that.
We're going to have to be scholars, gentlemen.
An archaeologist to dig through the shit to find out.
Not our strong suit.
So anyway, let's move on here. This is pretty much at the end, and then we're pretty much at the end of the show. So, but at 1758, there were over 50 degrees with titles like Hermetic Knight, Hermetic Rite, Philosophic Kabbalist, Rite of the Philanthes. But of
interesting
these,
Kabbalist.
Yeah. But of these are now laid aside. But the modern 28th degree in Scottish Rite, the Knight of the Sun, is the condensation of the Rosicrucian doctrines. Okay, so I don't know. Have I seen that one?
I don't
28th degree. There's your
but sometimes they're the 28th degree in Southern jurisdiction might be called something different than the Northern Masonic jurisdiction.
Fair point.
Let me just I'll fact check that while you're going.
The modern 18th degree of Scottish Rite, that of the Rose Croix, is not Hermetic, and that is absolutely true. It is not Hermetic. It's got nothing to do with Rosicrucianism. It was actually, we don't got to get deep into it, but it stems from the Christian doctrine alluding to the blood of Christ being shed on the cross. Bingo.
So it's...
That is 100%, 1,000% right there, you freaking haters and you trolls that say we're all freaking evil and we believe in Satan. It refers to the blood and the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. Thank you. Good night.
28th degree, Northern Masonic jurisdiction, is the Knight of the Sun or Prince Adept.
So they're the same or different?
Same.
Same. Okay, good. So if you want to check that out, join Scottish Rite, 28th degree.
I might
Let
do
us
that.
know. I think I've seen it, but God, I've seen it freaking moons ago. Probably like 2007 or 8, 9. But anyway.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So this leaves the origin of the word Rosicrucian and the beliefs of the order, and that is convoluted enough to be left for another day.
So basically, because of the naming of that particular degree, that's what got everybody behind the whole Freemasonry was derived from Rosicrucianism thing.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm gathering.
I should really join Scottish Rite.
You should.
You should.
I'll get there at some point.
A lot of good lessons in the Scottish Rite.
Oh, no doubt.
So what I'm picking up from this, and the way I'm kind of going to wrap this all up, in my head anyway, and then I'll let you guys do your thing and give us your assessment. But my assessment of it is that this was a non-fiction, or excuse me, I keep saying non-fiction, a fiction book. This was a book of fiction written by this Johann guy who wrote this whole... This Johann guy. He wrote this whole story about a guy named Christian Rosicrucian, who went through all these degrees and everything. It probably caught on like fucking fire, especially back in those days when everybody was all about the mysticism and the stuff that the church wasn't telling us. Yep. It caught on like fire. People read it, and they were looking to find out if there really was such an order. And which somebody came along, grabbed it, just created an order,
and was like,
and now they picked up on the symbolism of the things that were taught in the book, and they absolutely used it toward it. And you have a now real Rosicrucian order in 1622 that's
based on the things
that was originally written in that book. Yep. And what ended up happening was, I bet you at some point the Catholic Church tried putting a swift end to that.
Washing it.
And they ended up blending into Freemasonry, along with many other organizations that blended into Freemasonry. Freemasonry took them in, open arms, because, again, it was an order in
It's a
itself.
safe haven, right?
Safe haven. And again, if they're going to take the knowledge, that's what Masons do. We're after knowledge all the time.
Right.
Yep.
We'll let you in.
We'll
share
let you
your
in.
knowledge.
Let us know what you have. And I believe that at this point there was no fellowcraft degree. And in later times, after the teachings, they created the fellowcraft degree. And your fellowcraft degree is where all of your stuff may be.
Might be.
All right, I'm leaving. See you guys later.
Okay. Bye.
Joe, you're up.
No, I think there's definitely some influences or sharing of knowledge between the two. There's too many similarities to say that it's accidental. So there is definitely an exchange of ideas at the very least. So definitely some connections there. Not, I don't feel that Freemasonry originated from Rosicrucianism, but I think they're all after the same goal and objective. And like I said, there was definitely an exchange of ideas there. That's what I got, Ken.
Totally agree. I don't think that's where our roots come from, but I think a lot of what makes Freemasonry came from the ancient mystery schools, came from the best of all of the ancient world's religions. I don't think we sprung out of any one place. And I know there's a lot of scholars that are doing a lot of hard work to try to, like, find that golden thread back to one particular group, right? Whether it be the Templars or the Rosicrucians or whatever. I think we got a lot of what we are from the best from all of these ancient societies.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
And I believe that it was all suppressed by the Catholic Church, and they all kind of...
Here we go.
No. I'm not taking a shot or anything. I'm saying, but it was suppressed. This was suppressed organizations that had their own methodology and beliefs and allegories
You got
and
a bunch
stuff.
of folks getting together that
Right.
think along the same lines.
Yeah, and
Usually the religious
there
body
has-
in power at the time.
So
is-
Freemasonry is like the buffet of
Yeah.
ancient
yeah,
mysteries.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's where I
Like,
was going with.
Which philosophy do you agree with?
Yeah.
Which religion do you
It's
agree
the
with?
hometown buffet of
We don't really
ancient
care.
mysteries.
Ken got his
Come and
butthole
share.
all puckered up over there. I thought I was going to go deep in. And
No, I thought you were just going to...
Well, we were
Crap
talking
on
about
the-
the Catholic Church.
No, really. I mean, nobody can deny it. Like, I don't care. Like, in this particular period of time, the Catholic Church suppressed a lot of certain organizations. I mean, the
Yeah.
Inquisition wasn't a fake. Like,
No,
it actually
no.
happened.
Right.
You
No,
know what
I agree. I
It was
agree.
a little intense in the 1600s, for sure.
I
No, I agree with you.
No, I know. Just the way you like, yeah, we're a little intense in the 1600s.
It made me
I just love the way you put it. That's all.
All right. I'm trying to be as...
Yeah, things are a little intense.
no, but I
These are not
really
the
believe
opinions
that.
of the Freemasons podcast.
Or any Grand Lodge
Any
jurisdiction,
Grand
or
Lodge.
any Blue Lodge, or anything for that.
Ken's so fucking
Freemasons.
tender. He's like our little.
It's-
You're just a genuine nice guy. Like, you're just trying to like.
I just don't want to get thrown into prison.
Just don't be an Ashmole.
Try
Don't
not
be
to
an Ashmole. I personally believe that all these organizations they talked. Yeah, I think there was a lot of
Oh, yeah.
cross pollination, if you
Yeah.
will, between.
Over the top.
You could be saying you just were under an arch of steel.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah,
could do.
I don't think I would say that. No.
Anyway, I'm glad our Wi-Fi didn't shit the bed because this was a good one.
Yeah, it was fun.
I definitely want to deep dive into find out if the fellowcraft degree when it came about.
Well,
I think this is
that's
going to be
one
my
we've
new
gotta study.
podcast life mission right here. I want to study this, and I
we
want
could
to come
always
back
see
to it.
if Jamie Paul Lamb will come back on and talk about his research on the fellowcraft degree.
I mean, most certainly.
Or the
can.
brothers from the Elias Ashmole Society. I can
Yes.
talk to those guys too. I know a couple of them and see if they're willing to come on. And
That would
they're
be
still
a great
doing,
thing.
yeah.
Do you think they would get our humor though? Be like, look at these bunch of ash moles.
Oh, we would. I would brief them ahead of time. All
right.
No.
What do you say, brothers?
Yeah. I mean, we're at
I think we're done.
over an hour. Yeah.
We're just gonna get stupid now. So
Charge your cannons if they're not charged. I'd like to propose one last toast.
Cannon charged.
George is using the bottle to prop up.
It doesn't have to be a large one, but just something to. One last toast.
Being a freaking bottle hoard over here. Oh, that's not going to hold it. I wonder if that's what Ken sounds like, not like the whistle. Ken goes.
All right, brothers, I just want to give a toast out to all the men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we could have this long weekend, as somebody put it.
Here, here.
So just thank you to them and their families. And, again, just remember why you are able to enjoy this weekend and celebrate with family and friends. So, brothers, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire could fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat. Thank you all for your service.
Thank you. I can't even say thank you to the service because Memorial Day is not supposed to be.
I
It's not supposed to be a 3-day weekend. It's supposed to be like Happy Memorial Day. You're honoring the fallen. That's what Memorial Day is. Veterans Day, you can do that. But that was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for thinking of that.
You're
Yeah,
very
I
welcome.
appreciate that, Joe.
Let's close it up.
All right.
For the Freemasons podcast, I am Right Worship Brother George Mudry signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
And Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
God bless.